Hello there, good evening, Falcon and Tyler. How goes it? Also, I gotta look up what I had to do. I gotta see where we left off last time. I know we were at some kind of turning point, but I'm a little disoriented. Oops, didn't want to go into that folder. I want to go into this folder. Hello, DJ Gamer. Hello, Meowington. Alright, where were we? Where were we? What was I doing? We did the Stanley thing. Stanley reached a keep out. Kana was doing something, maybe. We went to creepy Kanan. That ends. We were at Achi. Were we just on Achi and that was it? We did the Achi thing. Achi was at a keep out. What was the last thing we need to do? Yeah, not get Hitomi to blow up. Yeah, where was I going with this? Hello there, Diego and Fool Arcana. Hello there, Winterburn. Wait, Merry Tuesday. Oh, that's right, you're in Europe. Scared the hell out of me for a second. I was like, did I just skip a class and not realize it? Yeah, what was I trying to do? Meowington Kano. That's right. Okay, okay. Thank you. Yeah, Full Arcana as well. Kano. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think I reached, like, every impasse with Achi. I think I'll get started in about a minute. I'm doing alright, Winterburn. How are you? We probably opened some avenue for Kano. And I'll get started shortly. Alright, let's go. Clear out those last coughs, I think. We are back with 428 Shibuya Scramble, and we gotta find out how to not screw this up. That's basically where we're at right now. So, with some very useful help from the chat, I was reminded that we might just have to do Kano. But where? That's the question, right? We don't want Hitomi to get a phone call. Pulling out a cell phone, Kano dialed up Osawa. As he did, he recalled his last exchange with Stanley. Yeah, we did see this. But we might be able to move on, though. We might be able to move on. It keeps going. So let's go right back in. Maybe I could just advance. So, okay, this is where we were. This is good. Dialed Osawa, recalled his exchange with Stanley. Looks like we'll be able to have that beer together after all. The phone rang several times before Osawa picked up. It's Kano. I have the password. Are you serious? Osawa blurted in shock. Here, let me give it to you. Are you ready? Yes! 59, FBA I4QL1. I remember reading earlier, I think I might actually need to remember this, so there's a chance I could choose something wrong and go in a bad direction. I hope we get this right. As he passed along... Oh, but it's ... though, so I don't know. As he passed along the alphanumeric sequence, Kano kept his eyes on Palmer. The man stared back at him with an expression of bitter defeat. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. Then at last, Osawa's excited voice came through. That did it! It opened! The lock opened! Kano let out a deep breath of utter relief. Palmer snorted. You're really satisfied with catching me and saving the life of one girl? I suppose it's the Japanese way to forget the pain that's been visited upon you. What? But it's not over. The bloodshed will continue. All over the world, women, children, the elderly, innocent, all will bleed. Because absolute justice is on our side. Is that right? Yeah! Kano drove his fist into Palmer's face. It reminds me of the game Contradiction, which I should really play at some point for the viewers, but just like, yes, yes, I know, police brutality. There was no such thing as absolute justice, unless you're Akainu from One Piece. Hello there, Keely. Hello there, Beta Bran. It was that kind of blind faith that kept the world in conflict. Well, this sure is quite the mess. Oh, it's my man Kuze! Whirling around in surprise, Kano saw Kuze standing there. Director Kuze! He bowed his head apologetically. He may have apprehended the criminal mastermind, but only because he'd ignored a direct order to place Maria under quarantine. I'm sorry, sir, but I... Save the apology, Kuze interrupted. You're the one who solved the case. You did good, kid. Really? You did good, kid? Alright. Hello there, insane buffoon. Once again, Kano bowed, this time even more deeply. Oh, and one more thing, Kano. Yes, sir? Sasayama... Yeah! Sasayama has regained consciousness. I thought you'd like to know. Oh, man! Don't worry, Sasayama. You can give the gift to your wife yourself. Sasayama? They were able to save him? I got a call from the hospital. Looks like he's going to pull through. That's great! Really great news! Tears of relief came to Kano's eyes. And if Osawa was able to get the lock at the lab open, he should also have been able to get Maria the antiviral without any further difficulty. Hey there, Dracologist. Kano dragged Palmer to his feet, then undid the handcuffs from his own wrist, using it to properly bind his captive. The metal ring snapped shut with a soft, satisfying click. Palmer limply hung his head. It was over. It was all finally over. It really had been quite a day, Kano reflected. Beyond all the challenges he'd faced, he had come to face with his own shortcomings. Now he knew what a long way he had to go to be the man he wanted to be. I mean, you saved literally the country. Like, that's pretty good start, buddy. But at least he'd learned what it truly meant to be a detective. Kuze was muttering to himself nearby. I mean, you don't even look alike, but... The director shook his head and cleared his throat. Oh, no. You know, Kano, for a second there, you look just like the Tenno. Oh, okay, okay. Really, sir? Kano smiled, fussing sheepishly with his hair. Kuze's words were the finest praise he could have asked for. Someday, he hoped he really might be a detective like Tateno. No, he decided. He would be. And until then, he'd never give up on that dream. It might be a long, long road, but he would walk it. Kano looked up into the sky. The neon lights of the city shone from all over. This is a little disturbing to me, like what Dracologist said. This is about to go south even more. Like, yeah, I'm at a bunch of keep outs. The game can't just end here because I have other characters' stories, so like, This was the same old Shibuya that it always was, but one that he looked at now with new eyes. Wait, really? Are we really? Keep out. Not even an end. Keep out. Huh. Well, huh. Well then. Keep out for Kano, keep out for Achi. I get... Oh, Jack! Oh! We could do Jack! Tatena was trapped, but we could fix that with Jack, I think. And... Yeah, okay, I guess we're doing Jack. Alright. Okay. Yeah, Meowington, you're waiting for the real canon. Would not be surprised. And yeah, Beta Bram, lack of Yanagishita during the last few streams. I know, when are we going to get more Yanagishita? For real. And the Loan Sharks! Please! Bring it out! So, we're playing Jack, but we're actually going to advance this time, I think. I really don't think it matters what we're thinking of Alphard's plans, so I'll just choose the third one because I haven't chosen it yet. Probably going to go for indiscriminate terrorism, even though that makes no sense. Maybe she had given the UA virus to the fake with the intent of releasing it. She needed the police to keep their attention on the scramble for as long as it took her to destroy the research facility. The threat of unleashing the virus was a perfect way to do that. As Stanley mulled that over, he realized another way that a virus released in Shibuya could benefit her. Alphard had been careful to wipe out almost everyone she'd associated with in the past. That was precisely why all of her defining characteristics, such as age and sex and nationality, had been unknown. It was unthinkable that she'd allow this decoy, who almost certainly knew who she really was, to stay alive. Once the decoy released the virus, he was likely to become infected himself and die. Meowington, they shooed away the comic relief? Probably, yeah, but I'm hoping he comes back at the end. Hey there, Dragon Ace. Alphard would also want to get rid of Hitomi, who still had the antiviral in her body. The virus would therefore eliminate the decoy, who knew the terrorist's true identity, and Hitomi carrying the drug at the same time. That's what her objective was. Wait, that can't be right, and we're back to what we've already read. Releasing the virus wouldn't kill her, she had the antiviral. Her body was full of antibodies that could fend off the UA virus. Being exposed to the virus again might cause her to develop a fever, but she almost certainly wouldn't die from it. Stanley had a hunch she was onto something, though. Surely Alphard would still want to eliminate the decoy and Hitomi in one fell swoop. What else would achieve the same end? Of course! My god, JC! A bomb! A bomb! What are we gonna do? Get out of there! Beginning with her bombings in Chicago, Alphard had made frequent use of remote-controlled explosives. It was likely that she'd opt for something similar here as well, but she wasn't going to be at the scramble herself, so how in the world was she going to trigger the explosion? Was there some clue to be found in something she'd said or done earlier? Think this again. It was the phone, right? We're coming back to the phone? We need to do something or else everyone's going to die. But wait! Kano talks about the phone. Cell phone ringing. Oh my god! Not sure that's significant, though, but it was. Oh, I can skip this. Slightly. Alright, well, okay. And now we're moving on. The bomb was set to detonate. Oh my god. If the ringtone on Hitomi's phone was the trigger, where could it be hidden then? We need to alert. So we gotta stop by Akamaki. Osawa could kill us all! It might be a mistake to call Kano. Maybe he couldn't risk calling him, but he could call Achi. Stanley dialed Achi Endo's number. Please don't let me be too late, he muttered to himself as he waited for the call to connect. Save! Save! And we can go to Achi! We can break his keep out! We can move on with the game, ladies and gentlemen! Achi was quick to pick up. Mr. Stanley, what's going on? Yes! We can move on! I really like how this game is actually going linear now, but the linear path involves all sorts of jumping. Oh my god, I'm so into this right now. Come on, come on, come on. Skablam. Going through. Kano was like, yeah! Eventually, Achi spotted Kano on the far edge of the crowd. The detective pumped his fist in victory. It looked like he'd gotten Alphard to cough up the password. Thank goodness. Finally, some really good news. Now Hitomi and Maria were both safe. A surge of relief ran through Achi's body. You know, the interesting thing is, I know that they said that Kanan was the real Alphard, and that Leland probably, like, is a lackey, but at the same time, I'm wondering if there's some coup where Alphard is just a name and there's multiple Alphards. It might just be Kanan, but we'll see. Unexpectedly, his cell phone rang. It was Stanley. We can go back to Stanley, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Stanley, what's going on? How did the negotiations go? Archie quickly filled him in on the good news. The detective called Alphard. He got him to give up the password, and I think he's called the folks at the lab. Does that mean the case is closed, then? No, not yet. Right now, I need you to do exactly as I tell you. Yeah, throw away Hitomi's phone, for God's sake. For a moment, Archie's head swam. This isn't over yet? Just set Hitomi's phone to mute. Like, the plot is foiled. Why? What's going on? If you want to save Hitomi, then shut up and listen, Stanley barked. Alright, tell me what to do. First, you need to power down Hitomi's cell phone. Turn off her phone? What for? Was Stanley serious or just messing with them? I'm pretty sure that there's a bomb somewhere near your location. A bomb! Get out of there! Archie's voice squeaked into falsetto. Yeah, a bomb? The guy that Kano just apprehended is a decoy. The real Alphard is planning to eliminate Hitomi and the false Alphard at the same time. Eliminate both Hitomi and his own decoy? Why would he do that? And if the guy they just captured was a fake, then who was the real Alphard? He couldn't wrap his head around it. The more he tried, the more his thoughts became a jumbled mess. Listen, first turn off that cell phone. Then, go and look for the bomb. Okay, got it. Right now, he just needed to do what Stanley told him to do. He didn't have time to make sense of the situation. Hanging up, he called out to Hitomi. Hitomi, you have to turn off your cell phone. She stared back at him, too confused to act. Look, just hurry up and do it. Right, okay. Pulling her phone from her pocket, she switched the power off. Then Archie turned in Kano's direction. Detective, he shouted. Kano was looking toward him, seemingly already aware that something was amiss. Detective, that's not the real Alphard. He's a fake. A fake? Kano looked understandably shocked. Yeah, I just got a call from Stanley. He said the real Alphard is planning to get rid of both Hitomi and the fake with some kind of bomb. Kano hurriedly turned back to the fake Alphard and began a fresh barrage of questions. Meanwhile, Archie's mind was racing again. If the bomb was meant to wipe out both Hitomi and the imposter, it would have to be pretty powerful. It's really powerful. So it couldn't be anything particularly small. Where could the bomb be hidden then? Archie scanned the area, but didn't spot any place that seemed plausible. My god, it was right under Palmer the entire time! Laugh and grow fat! Kano made his way over to Hitomi. Pardon me, miss, I just need to search you real quick. Wait, had Hitomi been planted with the bomb? That's a clever idea, actually. Archie, keep an eye on this guy, Kano said. If he tries anything funny, feel free to punch his lights out. Oh god. Okay, sure thing. Archie took up watch over the decoy Alphard. The guy was handcuffed, but he was still a diabolical terrorist. Archie knew he couldn't let his guard down for a moment. He kept a close eye on the fake, ready to knock him cold at the first sign of mischief. Meanwhile, Kano continued to search Hitomi. Did you buy all the jewelry and accessories you're wearing yourself? Yes, most of them. The ring I got from my sister. What about your clothes? Oh, I bought them just this afternoon. The top I was wearing before got torn. I see. Then, as Kano continued to search, he cried out suddenly in realization. Hitomi, you have to give me your cell phone. It's a bomb. Hitomi hurriedly pulled out her cell phone and handed it to Kano. Archie looked on in alarm as he realized the detective was going to turn the phone on. Stop! Don't open that door! I mean, don't turn that thing on! Kano froze at Archie's sudden shout. Why not? The detective quirked a quizzical eyebrow. I don't know, it's just what Stanley said. He told me to make sure her phone stayed off. The blood drained visibly from Kano's face. Quickly pulling out his own cell phone, Kano dialed up the police. He launched into a discussion involving a lot of cop jargon that made no sense to Archie. But one thing seemed clear, Hitomi's phone itself might be the bomb. But wait. Archie found himself doubting the phone bomb idea. If Hitomi hadn't brought her cell phone with her, what would have happened then? Would that just mean there would be no explosion here? He didn't buy it. Surely Alphard would have thought of a way to eliminate Hitomi and the decoy crook, whether she had her phone on her or not. Yeah, right, Beta Brand, stop! Don't open that phone! Don't hit Winterburn, don't phone that door! Ugh, everyone's, including me, is lame right now. It was too worrying a prospect to ignore. Achi waited impatiently for Kano to hang up, then asked, "Well, what do we do?" "For now, just let me handle this." That sounds familiar. Let me handle this. We don't know when or how this thing might explode. You guys get out of here. I have this. Kano set the cell phone down on the ground and started to put some distance between himself and it. Achi followed after him, dragging the fake Alphard along. I'm just nervous about Achi's legs. They're definitely going to come back. What? Are you? Come on, man. Suddenly there was a tremendous boom and a furious impact ripped through Achi's body. We're doing this again. I knew it, Achi thought as he lay crumpled on the pavement. Hitomi's cell phone was powered off, so it couldn't have been the bomb. Something else must have exploded instead. It was the last thought Achi ever had. Man, come on. Forced wrong ends. The bomb explodes. I love how there's like 100 mysterious explosion, the bomb explodes, ending. There's just a million of these. Here, have another nearly identical bad end. But that's okay. We got Jack. Kano's still out of commission. Wait, what? Oh, that's right, I jumped to him. And Tateno is in trouble, so let's jump to Jack. Boom, baby. And kablam. We're in. So this is Stanley making the call. I'll probably have to make some choice. Please don't let me be too late, he muttered to himself as he waited for the call to connect. Achi was quick to pick up. Why does it let me bounce to Achi? Like, oh, because it's the call from earlier. We gotta go through this first. Yeah, this is new. How did the negotiations go? The detective called Alphard, Achi replied happily. He got him to give up the password, and I think he's called the folks at the lab. Does that mean the case is closed then? No, not yet. Right now, it's the same dialogue. There was a pause before Achi responded. I'm pretty sure there's a bomb somewhere near your location. Stanley tried to keep his voice as calm and steady as possible. It still says that Achi squeaked into falsetto. Stanley didn't have the time to explain that Kanan was Alphard. Besides, it would only confuse the matter all the more at this point. Achi hung up. Hopefully the team at the scramble will be able to pull through. Now Stanley needed to focus on capturing Alphard. He tightened his grip on the steering wheel. Hello there, Dadada. His emotions were coming on far too strongly for him to keep them in check. In the back of his mind, Stanley thought about the last he'd ever seen of Frank. Oh no. There had been nothing left of his brother but a bloodied hand reaching out from beneath the rubble. Even since that day, since that very moment, Jack Stanley had sworn vengeance upon Alphard. He would never forget the rage he'd felt at having what was left of his family taken from him. Hey, Jack. Once this is all tidied up, I'm gonna need a drink. Let's you and me have a beer together. Sure. You got it. Stanley sprang into action, leading away the throng of panicking civilians. But all the while, he couldn't help but worry about Frank. We've almost got 30 minutes left. He'll be fine. Backup will definitely be here in time. He did his utmost to reassure himself, but still the doubts gnawed. When the bomb squad descended upon the area, clad in their protective gear, Stanley shot a look at his watch. Explosive Ordnance Disposal, EOD suits, also commonly called bomb suits or blast suits, worn during bomb disposal operations to protect the wearer from the shock of a blast or from any hurled fragments an explosion may produce. Such a suit is, however, wholly inadequate to protect the wearer from a large, powerful explosive, such as several hundred grams of C4 detonated at close range. You know, the movies never have characters wear these suits. The only time I've ever seen that was one of the Rush Hours, like 1 or 2. And even that was just a training session. He felt a surge of relief. Only about 15 minutes had passed. There was still plenty of time for them to deactivate the bomb with their liquid nitrogen. Thank God. Frank's going to be alright. But he got no chance to relish that thought. Jesus. Was it set up to go at 15 minutes? Because that's a dick move. There was an ear-splitting boom as a powerful shockwave shook the area. Stanley whirled back around, staring in horror at the place that his brother had been. Hello there, living corpse. Nothing remained but a mound of rubble. A later investigation would reveal that the timer on the bomb's exterior had been a mere ruse. Oh, man! Ah! The explosive had never linked to a timer at all. Instead, it had been detonated via remote control. When electrical detonators capable of triggering an explosion with electrical current were invented, they quickly rendered old-style fuses obsolete. In the modern day, many terrorists use small electronics such as cellular phones and keyless entry remotes for cars as explosive triggers. Alphard had deceived them, using a visible timer to lull them into a false sense of security. Stanley had managed to save many lives that day, to be sure, but it had come at the cost of his own brother's life. Had he really made the best decisions he could have made? He was still asking himself the same question over and over, even now. But no matter how much he blamed himself, it wouldn't bring Frank back. If there was one thing he could still do for his brother, it was get revenge on Alphard with his own hands. Stanley had been in constant pursuit of Alphard ever since. He would stoop to any level for information, without remorse. His opponent was someone who would do anything at all, to achieve a goal. It only made sense for him to do the same. At some point, he'd stopped even hesitating to get his own hands dirty. He would charge headlong into any danger if he sensed Alphard's presence. Even his own life was a price he was willing to pay in the name of vengeance. He could never hope to latch his jaws onto his quarry's throat if he behaved like prey himself. Yeah, right, Dragon Ace? I gave you the same 10 minutes you gave me. Or it was like, I think it was 6 minutes, because then it was like, we have 3 minutes. He must be the greater predator. He would cast aside his humanity, would become a blood-stained beast if that improved his chances at the hunt. For the hunt was all that mattered. All that mattered? Come on. All that mattered. Pursuit of Alphard had become his only purpose. So it had been for the past 2 years. Now those years flashed through Stanley's mind in the blink of an eye. As he came back into the moment, he marveled at his own ferocity and at the depth of the wound he'd suffered. Arresting her isn't enough. I'll make her pay with her life. If I don't sink to her level, I'll never be able to beat her. If I do get my revenge, what would Frank think? Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first choice of the night. What is it gonna be? A. Kill her. B. Sink to her level. C. What would Frank think? Hello there, Ichigo Berry. How is it going to be? I am most curious. I don't know if this one matters, but it's emotionally invested. Does anybody have any opinions? Oh, I do hope so. 1 vote for C. Yeah, right, Living Corpse? It wasn't God who gave me this face, it was you, setting the timers to 3 minutes instead of 6. We have 3 for C, 4 for C, and 1 for B. 5 for C, 6 for C. Yeah, honestly, I was thinking C myself. We're going. When Stanley pictured his younger brother, it wasn't with a smile on his face. The realization gave him pause. In the end, killing Alphard wouldn't bring his brother back. That went without saying. But although he could see, now, that revenge was an absurd goal, his heart still churned deep and dark with resentment. The Okashi Pharmaceutical Lab finally came into view. Hello there, Douglas. A large billow of black smoke was rising from one of the building's windows. Stanley felt a chill at the pit of his stomach. He hopped out of the car and then gasped. Tateno. Wait. The detective was sprawled face down on the ground outside the laboratory gate, his gun still in his hand. Blood had pooled around his head. He'd been shot at close range. Death would have been instantaneous. All too late. Stanley felt the full weight of his mistake. Tateno had gone up against an opponent who was out of his league, and then gotten himself killed. And Stanley had put him up to it. He should never have let Tateno try to handle the situation on his own. He should have done whatever it took to stop the detective. There must have been some way he could have averted this disaster, wink. Okay. Fair enough, maybe we can do something. Saving Maria is your top priority, isn't it? That's right. There had been no hesitation in Tateno's words. Stanley had known how badly the man wanted to save Maria. That's why he deferred to the detective's judgment. Now he was faced with the results of his own naivete. Oh no, video! The smoke pouring from the building showed no signs of diminishing. In all likelihood, the lab had been destroyed with the bomb. Alphard's plan had run its course before Stanley had even got there. He couldn't forgive himself for having been so thoroughly outwitted, nor would he ever forgive Alphard for what the terrorist had done. Anger erupted inside him, raging like hellfire, driving him on to action. Death would be too kind of a fate for Alphard. Now more than ever before, the thirst for vengeance consumed him. What? Oh, come on! But even as he began to stalk toward the laboratory, a bullet caught Stanley in the abdomen. Hello there, Michael. For a moment, he couldn't process what had happened. There was an intense, searing pain that spread through his gut. Warm liquid began to soak through his shirt. Then a figure emerged from within the smoke. I've been waiting for you to show up, Jack. Another bullet tore through Stanley's body. Time seemed to slow for him. He watched the spray of blood scattering like a crimson mist. Alphard! Stanley hissed the word through clenched teeth. Out of pure stubborn spite, he managed to stay on his feet, tottering toward his foe. He raised his gun. Oh, you... Whoa! He didn't stop pulling the trigger until the very moment his world went dark. God damn! Defiant to the last. Yo, that was hardcore. Holy crap. Wow, dude. Alright, so we gotta make a choice for Tateno. Like, way back. Yo. So we were led on the wrong path the whole time. We could have done something different with Tateno. If it comes down to it, to shoot her. Alright, so yeah, this was a wrong decision way back. Stall until I get there, I guess, because you know he can't shoot her. So, And Tateno hung up. And we have our save. So, let's go to Tateno. Suddenly, it's different! Hey! We can move on with Tateno aiming at Kanan. Let's see what the hell happens. Kanan, step closer. You let your friend's wife die. I gotta keep reading. Ugh, creepy smile. You're afraid to pull the trigger. You can hardly even stand the thought of pointing your gun at someone. But wait! Kotone's final moments flashed through Tateno's mind. If he hadn't fired back then, maybe Kotone would still be alive. Your friend's entire life was changed because of you. Why hadn't he tried to talk the culprit down? He knew the reason why. Because he'd loved Kotone. He'd still loved her even after she'd become Daisuke's wife. His desire to be the one who saved her had warped his sense of judgment when things had come down to the wire. Tateno, do you not enjoy being with me? There was a forlorn look on Kotone's face. It wasn't that he didn't enjoy being with her. Her very presence soothed him. But the more serious the relationship had grown, the more it tore at Tateno's heart. The truth was that he didn't really know what happiness was, and so he was incapable of making someone else happy. If it were possible, he'd want Kotone to be smiling always. And that meant her being with someone other than him. I think it would be best if we stopped seeing each other. Tateno blurted out the words bluntly, and Koteno's face fell. He hadn't broken up with her because of any lack of feeling for her. Rather, the impulse had actually sprung out of his pursuit of human warmth, and his growing fear of losing it. He'd just been so uneasy. More than anything, he'd been afraid that he wanted too much love and affection from Kotone. Bit by bit, Tateno lowered his gun, his hand ever more unsteady. His heart was on the cusp of breaking, and still Kanan continued with her diabolic whispering. You can go ahead and kill me, but if it turns out I'm not Alphard, what then? Now she stared at Tateno with an almost pitiable look. With a creepy smile. You'll have once more done something that you can never undo. Something I can never undo? Tateno repeated the words dully, feeling himself forced into a trance. That's right. Could you ever accept that? No, I couldn't. Couldn't make the same mistake. His whole body felt like it might fall apart. He wanted to drop to the ground and curl up in a ball, like a child. And that's why you can't shoot anyone. I can't shoot anyone. As Tateno muttered the words, Kano's face appeared in the back of his mind. I can! Tears fell from Kano's eyes as he looked down the barrel of his gun at Tateno. He'd become a detective who didn't lose sight of what he was supposed to protect, no matter the situation. I won't need my cane. I'm gonna need my cane. Or no, what was it? How did this go? Like, I'll just put down my cane, but I'll need to remember where it is, for I'll need it on the long trip home. Tateno had nearly forgotten. By the way, if anybody gets that reference, please shout it out, I'm quite curious. Nearly abandoned his inward promise to be a detective worthy of that final salute Kano had given him. He brought his gun back up to bear. Don't be absurd, Kanan mocked. You can't shoot anyone. Actually, I can. The words creaked dryly from Tateno's throat. When there's something I'm supposed to protect, I can shoot. The memory of Kano weeping but taking aim had given him the resolve he needed to face down an opponent who ought to have terrified him. A Fakafon 300 is a good reference. Not quite the one, but that is something. His cane felt heavy. No, it was like the one where it was, I'm gonna put down my cane, but I'll need to pick it up later for the long trip home. Or it was, the words were approximately like that. I learned that from someone who was terrible at his job. Kanan's eyes went cold. Immediately, she lifted up her gun again. Hey, Dragon Ace, you got it! Yeah, it was Endul from JoJo Part 3. Once more, their eyes locked, sparks of hostility crackling between them. But almost immediately, Tateno could sense the difference in skill between his opponent and himself. The young woman radiated a deadly aura. The force of her stare was like a knife pressed to his throat. She had borne witness to carnage and bloodshed the likes of which he couldn't even imagine. He couldn't win this. She would kill him, guaranteed. Tateno braced himself for death, never taking his eyes off Kanan's. If nothing else, he needed to buy time for Kano to get that password. But could he do that, given the opponent he faced? Yes. Somehow he would do it. As a detective. As a man. Even if he had to give his own life to succeed. Even if it couldn't come close to making up for the sins he had committed. Keep out for sure, and then Jack's gonna show up and unkeep out him. Whoa, hard cut. And? Oh, damn! Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay, we're done with Tateno, ladies and gentlemen. Damn. That leaves us with Jack, Achi, and Kano. We're getting there. We're getting there. Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack. Let's make it work. So it had been for the past 2 years. Now those years flashed through Stanley's mind in the blink of an eye. As he came back into the moment, he marveled at his own ferocity and at the depth of the wound he'd suffered. So, what the brother would want, let's stick with that option. I'm actually curious, though, if we should just kill her, but we probably should go with Frank. There were 2 people standing outside the front gate. Oh my god! It was Tateno and the girl who was pretending to be Kanan. Each had a gun drawn on the other. Somehow Stanley had made it in time. He pulled his car up alongside them and reached down to the gun sleeve concealed beside his seat. He pulled out a .44 caliber Desert Eagle, one of the most powerful semi-automatic handguns in the world. A semi-automatic handgun designed by Minnesota-based Magnum Research Incorporated and manufactured by Israeli Weapon Industries. There are various models chambered for different rounds. The largest, the 50 Action Express, 50 AE, is exceptionally powerful by semi-automatic handgun standards. His orders were to apprehend Alphard. The smaller Glock in his shoulder holster might be better suited to that end. Even so, he opted for the Desert Eagle. Oh my god. He just walks up to them. Getting out of the car, he started pacing toward the young woman. Stanley. Tateno glanced over at him, his face pale. Stanley gave a silent nod in reply. He could see the hint of a smile on the girl's face, probably a smile of overconfidence. Well, her brazenness would get her no further. I got in touch with the others, Stanley said. Told them to turn off Hitomi Osawa's cell phone. He could see her eyes react. I imagine that by now they've also managed to deal with the bomb you planted on your decoy. The young woman remained silent. And, of course, they've managed to bypass the lock inside the lab. You know what this means? Your little plan has failed completely. Stanley could see the girl's stare sharpen. He chased Alphard all around the world, only to arrive here at last, in this little island nation. It had been a long, long journey, and he'd spent a long time suffering. Now, both the journey and the suffering would be over. Oh my god! Oh, I thought he was gonna talk! We meet at last, Alphard. Oh my god! Okay. Holy crap. Stanley ends like 10 seconds later than Tateno's. Achi stuck at bad end, I guess, but how do I make this work? How do I make this work? There's gotta be a different decision to make. There's gotta be. The line keeps going down. Is this just no longer keep out? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just not keep out anymore, which I've never seen before, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm gonna button mash through this message. It's gonna be a little while, I apologize, but well, Dracologist, where do I jump? I didn't see a jump point anywhere. There's only Achi and Kano, but I didn't see a jump point for either of them, but Kano has a line going down and I can't select his bad end, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm just mashing the X button right now. It's not over yet, the bloodshed will continue. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh yeah? Skablam. Okay, okay. Did we do forgiveness for Achi? I don't know. Was there a jump from Stanley? I didn't see any jumps. Like I'll double check, but I'm just double checking real quick just because there's a line under Kano's keep out and I can no longer select his keep out. So, like, I don't know about this. Sasayama's recovering. Oh my god, that's so great. How many pages do I have? We're getting there. I don't know, because Achi's somehow stuck at a bad end. We're doing what we can. Gotta let these few screens pass over. We're gonna be the best to truly be a detective. For a second there, you look just like the Tenno. Oh my god, that's the best flattery, or not flattery, compliment I ever could have received. Maybe one day I really will be like the Tenno. Wouldn't that be the coolest? Okay, here's the last screen. I don't know if they're going to keep out or what, but we're see. Good point, Fakafania. We've worked all the way back to the first 2 characters of the game. That is pretty clever. Alright, here we go, here we go. Is it still keep out, though? It might be. It might be. Yeah, it is keep out. I was kind of hoping. Dracologist, would Nachi's bad end change? No, because like I'm still allowed to select the bad end, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to find something to do. See, like the line keeps going. It threw me. There isn't another choice, is there? What are you thinking? I don't know. Let me see. I don't think that matters. Because we got the password. Unless it all goes the same direction. I could check the jump with Achi, actually, but I think... No, we already did this at this point, though. You know what? I'm going to select another choice, just in case it amounts to the same result anyway, but it gives me a jump. I don't know, though. I'm getting revenge. He thought back to the sight of Sasayama sprawled out and bleeding on the pavement. Thanks to this man's scheme, his partner was now teetering on the brink of death. Alphard should pay for that. And then we have the dramatic lighter. Would Achi's bad end change? Good question, Dragon Ace. Maybe I could just play Achi and see what happens, but it still said bad end, which threw me off, but I'll check. And this is the same thing. I'll go to the save. I'll see if it makes any kind of difference. Let me see. Because I can still select that, which throws me off. Stanley still gets his end. Tenno still gets his end. Kano made no difference. I guess I'll go to Achi. There are no hints after 18... I guess I'll... Yeah, I'll go to the bomb, see what happens. At least I can't select the bad end. Yeah, it still scrolls to the bomb going off, though. That's the same thing. There has to be something going on with this. Is there a choice with Achi not being violent to Alphard? I'll check it, but I was under the impression that we already went with, like, Protect Hitomi. I just want to know the password. Oh yeah, if that's what you're after, then you can't kill me. They locked eyes, refusing to back down. But wait, gasoline fumes. I can use this. It looks like it's all the same choice in this case. He flipped the letter on. You can't be serious. And then it's the same thing anyway. I'll see if there's some kind of choice with Achi, but, like, where can I possibly jump? Unless there really was something with Stanley and I just totally missed it. Because Achi would have an opportunity here, wouldn't he? I'll check it. Full Arcana, yeah, there was a jump to Achi from Kano, but we're already past that point in the continuity. That's not going to help. Like, there is a jump to Achi here. I don't think it makes a difference, but I'll try just to see what happens. Oh, Meowington in the beginning when I had a choice waiting in the statue. I'll see if that makes a difference. Rising Emotions. Well, we went with protecting Hitomius to come first. Maybe it was option C. Set aside my hatred. Focus on catching the bad guy. Maybe? Why isn't Kano given the signal? Maybe this is it? It could be. I'll go to the jump. Perhaps you're right. Maybe I can jump from here. But that's still Stanley. This was the jump to Kano. That didn't really help. But the beginning at the statue then. Okay. Choice. No, this is too far back. There was a choice to punch Alphard when waiting in the statue? Like, I think I already went to that, though. Like, clearly there's something obvious that I'm missing, but I don't know what it is. I'll let the jump come into play. Didn't Stanley's line have a jump to Achi? I'll check. If it did, then we're golden. That's the bad man, that's the keep out. I'm not seeing a jump. Then again, what if it's in Stanley's other options? We had a choice, maybe we could choose something different. At the same time, though, these are going to be, like, probably the bad choices. Like, I'll make her pay with her life. That seems like a bad idea. It was the only fair price for the life she herself had taken. There could be no restitution for Frank's death as long as she was still alive. The law wasn't going to punish Alphard. Stanley was. He didn't care if anyone else thought it was a petty vendetta. Only someone who'd suffered the loss of a loved one at the hands of a vicious killer could understand his seething resentment. This probably is a bad choice, and it does a new save. It still leads to an end, though. So I don't know. I don't think it makes a difference. So what if I do the third option, then? Or maybe there's something with Tateno as well? Sink to her level? His heart had room for nothing but revenge. The law wasn't going to punish Alphard, Stanley was. Same thing, petty vendetta. It doesn't seem to make a difference. I'll go back to the Frank option, just because it seems like the nicer thing to do. Because, like, who's gonna jump to this point in Achi or Kano's story, right? This is kind of bothering me. And I'll just wait for it to do the save thing again. Yeah, let's just make the save thing pop up. Okay, now I'll go to Tateno, I guess. I don't know. Aiming at Kanan, I'll choose the other option, although I really don't think it'll make a difference. I'll make sure you regret it, but that seems like a terrible idea. Boom. It still leads to an end. This is... Where's Kano's final point? 1905. That's a jump to Achi. Maybe, yeah, maybe I could do it from Stanley's point here. Maybe that's just different? I don't know. Because we've already jumped to Achi from this point, so I really don't know. But who knows? Maybe something different will happen, but Yeah, we gotta unlock Kano's path for sure. But, like, I'm missing something. Yeah, that still leads to death. We're still dead. 1905. Hateno has an option. Calling Hitomi. Jump to Kano? Could that be it? Could this be it from back here? Yeah, this might be the new option. I think we're good. I think we figured it out. It had just been a while. We're good. We're moving on with Kano, ladies and gentlemen. Got it. This was the same old Shibuya it always was, but the one he looked at now with new eyes. His cell phone rang. Tateno's name appeared on the incoming call display. Kano quickly picked up. Detective Tateno, what's going on? You need to get Hitomi Osawa to safety immediately. Alphard isn't trying to get at her blood. He wants her eliminated. What? Tateno wasn't making any sense. Alphard, Palmer, had already been arrested. The threat was over now. Ah, that's why when Achi looks over at Kano, he sees that Kano's already distressed. It's because of this phone call. Hurry, Tateno barked. Yes, sir. Detective, Achi called out suddenly. There it is, there it is. He was standing with Hitomi and the others near the statue of Hachiko. Detective, that's not the real Alphard, it's a fake. A fake? Yeah, I just got a call from Stanley. Kano didn't want to believe it. If this Alphard was just a decoy, that meant the real culprit was elsewhere, still on the loose. Achi's voice rang with desperation. He said the real Alphard is planning to get rid of both Hitomi and the fake with some kind of bomb. To get rid of Hitomi? That lined up with what Tateno had just called to warn him about, even though there should be a space after the question mark. It must be true then. Once again, Kano tensed. A bomb, but where? Get me the Explosive Ordnance Division, someone squawked. A team made up of the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department Security Bureau's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 6th Riot Police units, as well as the Support Vehicle Unit. Division members are trained in explosives disposal. Typically, a dangerous explosive is frozen with liquid nitrogen, then moved away from the site via support vehicle. The bomb is then detonated in a safe location. Explosives are almost never dismantled on site. We've got an emergency here! It was Kuze, practically screaming into his cell phone. We're at the scramble outside the station! Hurry! The director started running toward the precinct, still shouting as he wove his way through the crowd. Kano felt himself starting to panic. If Hitomi and Palmer were the targets, the bomb had to be nearby. He stormed over to his captive. Okay, where's the bomb? He demanded. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb with me. I already told you the password, Palmer said. Yeah, it's not surprising that Palmer wouldn't know that he was being set up. What point would there be in keeping things from you now? He had a point. And if he had known about the existence of the bomb, he'd kept it a secret so far. Getting him to reveal it now would not be easy. Kano decided just have to... There's no subject in that sentence. He'd just have to go look for it himself. He took a deep breath and tried to think logically. If he were Alphard, what would he do? How could he ensure that he'd eliminate both Hitomi and the fake Alphard at the same time? Where would he plant a bomb in order to pull that off? On the fake. There was no other place he could possibly have planted it. On Hitomi. That way he could be certain he'd at least eliminate her. In a minivan. He was going to try the same ploy all over again. Ladies and gentlemen, where's the bomb? We have it on Leland, on Hitomi, or in another minivan. Pull the same shenanigans twice. Dragon Age, the suitcase. That's an amusing guess. If it is the suitcase, then I suppose it's on the fake, right? B, we have one vote for B. Do we have any others? 2 for B. 3 for B. 1 for C, 1 for A. 4 for B. 2 for A. Do we have any more? B. A. B's winning. On Hitomi. That way he could be certain he'd at least eliminate her. Now that Hitomi carried the antiviral within her body, Alphard couldn't risk letting her go. If other terrorists happened to find out about her and managed to get a hold of her blood, it could undermine everything he'd done. Whether he'd succeeded or failed at getting the antiviral from her, killing Hitomi must have been part of the plan. Pardon me, miss, Kano said. I just need to search you real quick. Oh yeah, it must have been B, because Kano searched Hitomi in the alternate path, right? But wait! But that led to the bad end, so we probably chose incorrectly. Hitomi hesitated and gave a firm nod. I should keep an eye on this guy. Yeah, this is probably the bad end. He scanned Hitomi, a cursory look, said there was nothing there, but he did a pat-down search. She had her cell phone in her pocket, but wasn't carrying anything else. And then we got the question we've already asked. We explained the ring, we explained the clothes. Kano sighed. No bomb. It wasn't there. Was Kano's guess off base? Or had Stanley just been jumping at shadows? Deciding he better check with the American, Kano got out his cell phone. Cell phone. Kano stared at his phone without dialing. That was it. People always kept their cell phones on them. If you planted a bomb on one, you'd be sure to eliminate the owner. Hitomi, give me your cell phone. We've been there. It was the only explanation. He took the phone from Hitomi and powered it on. No, wait, stop. Don't turn it on. Why? We've gone over this already. No doubt about it, this was it. On his own phone, Kano called Director Kuze. It's Kano. I found the bomb. It's a miniature explosive inside a cell phone. Kano described the dimensions and weight of the phone. The director ordered him to stand by until the bomb squad arrived. Kano hung up, then gently set Hitomi's phone down on the ground. What do we do? Achi asked. For now, let me handle this. We don't know when or how it might explode. Get out of here. Look, just get out of here. I'm waiting for the explosive ordnance unit to get here. After that, I'll clear out right away too. Don't worry. All right. Achi took Hitomi by the hand and turned to go. So maybe it was it. Like, no, nope. There we go. We chose wrong, ladies and gentlemen. An instant later, Kano's senses were knocked out of him by a thunderous explosion. The blast was far too big to have come from something the size of a cell phone. Okay, chat, one more time. Is it going to be on A, the fake, or C, in a minivan? Because we got bad end, the bomb explodes. A, the fake, C, the minivan. Place your bets. Ladies and gentlemen, where could the bomb be? But thank you for getting me another bad end. I am trying to get them all. So A on the fake, C in a minivan. New votes. So we have 1 for A, 1 for C, 3 for A, 4, 5. A is steamrolling right now. 6. Alright, let's go. Kano began to pat Palmer down carefully. Achi, he shouted. Check the case! Hurry! Oh man, Dragon Ace, did you call it with, the suitcase? He gestured to the attaché case Palmer had been carrying. So now Palmer's gonna get mad, like he's been set up. Don't move. Kano searched through his captive's jacket and the pockets of his pants. But he came up with nothing. Perhaps Alphard had fitted the bomb into the man's watch or belt? Stop this. I'm not carrying a bomb. Shut your mouth. But Kano couldn't spot anything suspicious about the watch or the belt either. He clenched his jaw in frustration. Did Palmer really not have it after all? Detective! It was Achi. He looked alarmed. Kano hurried over to him, dragging Palmer along. When he looked inside the attaché case, Palmer's face went pale. No. It can't be. Alphard, why? His voice was hoarse with betrayal. What am I fighting for? Then he abruptly broke into stilted laughter. Trusting someone really does make you blind. Such a simple, childish ruse, and it went right under my nose. Palmer looked over at Kano. We need to get out of here immediately, he said. That right there is C4. A plastic explosive created for military use. The chief component is RDX, trimethylenitrinitromine, which is combined with the plasticizers such as, this is actually harder to pronounce, diacetyl, sabacate. It is highly reliable, or, no, it should say it is, but it's asking, is it highly reliable? It is highly reliable and is used by many military forces around the world, most notably the U.S. Armed Forces. A high-yield plastic explosive used by the military, and that's enough to blow this whole area to smithereens. A chill ran up Kano's spine. Do not let this man go, he said, handing Palmer over to Susumu. Got it. Just leave it to us. Suzumu signaled to his followers, who immediately dumped Palmer unceremoniously on the ground. I could see how you'd miss something like that in your suitcase. Kano carefully inspected the inside of the attaché case. Achi had found a false bottom in the case. There you go. The space beneath it was indeed packed full of plastic explosives. That is a lot. Set it within it was what it looked like a detonator. Ooh, good one, Fakafan. See for yourself, Kano. Kano didn't know much about bomb disposal. He'd only been taught the very basics during his police academy training. Nevertheless, something drew his eye. Do you think how did that Simpsons line go? It was there was a police academy line that really slayed me because it was like a super zinger on the movies and it really cracked me up. Like, I can't believe my own son would steal. Why do you think I took you to those police academy movies? For fun? Well, I didn't see anybody laughing. Did you? Like, that's so good. A microphone. There was a parabolic microphone attached to the detonator. In all likelihood, the detonator had been set to go off in response to some sort of sound. Yeah, right, Fakafon, let's make a butterfly with it. Let's see who gets that reference. In all likelihood, the detonator... Hey, detective? Is that thing going to explode or not? Achi's voice was shaky. It looks like it's sound activated, but it hasn't gone off just from having people talking nearby. That means it must be set to explode in response to a specific sound trigger. A specific sound, huh? Achi took a moment to think. That's it! It must be Hitomi's ringtone! That's why Stanley had me power her cell phone off. So that means we're safe then? Hitomi asked. It's not going to explode anymore, right? Kano had to fight back any feelings of relief. They couldn't forget that this was Alphard they were dealing with. Also, good catch from Living Corpse. Make a butterfly out of C4 is Metal Gear Solid 3. Although, Metal Gear Solid 3, weren't they, like, being... Like, it was in the 70s, right? It predated C4. Wasn't it, like, C3 or something in Metal Gear Solid 3? It was, like, C2 or C3? Assuming they were safe would be a dangerous mistake. Carefully lifting up the detonator, Kano spotted another cable connected to the bomb. Oh yeah, Insane Buffoon also got the reference. As calmly as he could, he tried to remove the plastic explosive from the attaché case. Don't let the timer fool you, buddy! He quickly discovered that the thinly stretched sheet of plastic explosive was only an intermediate layer concealing a second false bottom. A small timer had been set beneath it. There's not just a sound trigger. Kano's mouth had gone dry. His voice came out as a whisper. The bomb has also been fitted with a countdown timer. Stanley had been right on the mark. Ah, Fakafon, thanks. Yeah, it was C3. The ringtone of Hitomi's cell phone would trigger the explosion. That way Alphard could eliminate both her and his stooge, Palmer, at the same time. But just in case a sound trigger were discovered, as a backup, the bomb had also been rigged to explode after a set time. Kano speed-dialed his boss. Director Kuze, where is that bomb squad? 151. 150. Not even 2 minutes left to go. 2 minutes! I'll finish you! In 2 minutes! It didn't look like the explosive ordnance unit would make it in time. Kano scanned the area, weighing his options. He noticed Achi standing right beside the bomb case. Achi, he called out. Leave that thing and get out of there! Or here. But Achi didn't move. No way. He sat down, the attaché case cradled in his arms. Achi, what the hell are you doing? I'm not going anywhere until everyone's made it to safety. Detective, you need to get these people someplace safe right away. Clear the area first, then I'll go. But there's no way I can do that! Damn it, don't you want to save these people too? Kano bit his lower lip in frustration. Achi was right. If the bomb went off amidst a crowd like this, there was no telling how many There was no telling how many causalities there'd be. Wrong word, buddy. There was no telling how many casualties there'd be. He needed to do whatever he could as quickly as possible. Get back! Everybody get back! Achi shouted at the top of his lungs. There's a bomb. No space. Everyone, get out of here! Just run! Following his lead, Kano started directing nearby civilians to safety. Yeah, right, DJ Gamer? Some days, you just can't get rid of a bomb. Hitomi, Suzumu, and the others added their voices. His. You're losing me toward endgame, Shibuya Scramble! They added their voices to his. Hey there, Gabriel. There's a bomb! Everybody run! Get away as fast as you can! Please, you all have to get out of here! But the crowd wasn't listening to their warnings. On the contrary, some people hurried closer to see what the commotion was all about. It was no use. They were out of time. Kano had to save Achi at least. He turned back to him and called out, Achi, that's enough. Leave the bomb and let's go. Achi, Hitomi shouted. Come on! But Achi only clutched the bomb more tightly. What are you... Yeah, right, Meowington, the dry ice machine from the actors. I freaking wish. I hope they bring that in. What are you doing? Kano screamed. Come with us, hurry! Still, Achi would not move. Suzumu's face went pale. Wait! Achi, your leg! What about my leg? Earlier, when you kicked that steel pipe. What the heck? Finally, Kano understood. It wasn't that Achi didn't want to move. He couldn't move. And so he decided to get all heroic and use himself as a human shield to minimize the impact of the explosion on everybody else. That idiot, Kano muttered. If his leg was busted, why didn't he say so? How did he even make it this far? There couldn't be much time left. If Kano rushed to help him now, he might not make it to safety before the bomb went off. He had to make a decision. A. He couldn't just rush him without a plan. B. Kano ran for Achi anyway. He couldn't just abandon him. Chat, this is a big one, and I think this matters. What do we do? Come up with a plan in very little time, just come up with something, anything, or B, YOLO, and maybe make a stupid decision with the benefit of getting there quickly. What are we gonna do? This is gonna be tough. A, think, B, just go. Place your bets. Come on, what's it gonna be? Beta Bran, mean clean indeed. Recycling his own useless body. That's dedication. B, 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 B. We have 4 Bs. 5. 6. Okay, this is like unanimous. Let's go. He couldn't just abandon him. Achi was being an idiot. He wanted to sacrifice himself for the greater good. The greater good. But Kano wasn't going to let him do that. To have someone else be your shield, to have them give up and give their life, or to have them up and give their life for yours, Achi had no idea just how hard that would be on the people he left behind. Even if it did save their lives. And until he was capable of comprehending that, Kano wasn't going to just let this kid die. He reached Achi in a matter of moments and grabbed him by the shoulder, hard. Let go of the case, now! But Achi reflexively hunched lower. What the hell are you doing, man? Why'd you come back here? Just come with me, we have to get out of here! Look, you need to run, I can't move! Oh, you've got to be kidding me! Kano squatted down and looked Achi right in the eye. Okay, you can't move on your own, so I'm gonna help you move, and unless you want to kill me too, you better cooperate! Damn it! Don't be a fool, man! The strength ebbed from Achi's hands. Wasting no time, Kano pulled the case away, then slipped an arm around Achi's side. Aw, freaking Winterburn, you're so dark. The ironic part is that Mean Clean is going to be a hell of a mess. Their legs got entangled as Kano dragged Achi to his feet. Come on, run! The detective shouted when they were upright at last. They needed to get as far away as possible in the few seconds they had left. Kano didn't know how big the explosion was going to be. Palmer had said it would be enough to blow the whole area to smithereens, though, and there'd been true terror in his voice when he said it. They just needed to keep moving. Keep running as far as their legs would take them. Achi! Hitomi shrieked. Oh no. If only we'd thought of a plan. Good call, DJ Gamer. I can't carry it, but I can carry you. Oh no. Bad end. There was a blinding flash of light. Then everything went dark. The force of the blast robbed Kano of his senses. He couldn't tell what had happened to Achi, and in the end, Kano never even knew what cut his own life short. Okay, well, there's only one way to go. Bad end. The bomb explodes. So many nearly identical endings. Hey, I got a great idea. Let's choose the other thing. So I guess we're starting and ending this game with Achi, maybe? Because we're just focusing on Kana for a while. Come up with a plan, even though we have less than 2 minutes. A detective needed both a cool mind and a fiery spirit, and the more heated the situation was, the more he needed to stay cool. He could feel the muscles in his legs begin to stiffen. He did his best to slow his racing heartbeat as his mind sought desperately for a way out of the situation, but his eyes remained fixed on Achi, holding that bomb in his arms. Knowing that it could explode at any moment made it almost impossible to think. The harder he tried to calm himself, the more his panic grew. He cursed himself for not leaping into action immediately. He should have acted before thinking. That was the only thing he was good at, and still he stood frozen, staring at Achi. Then he felt the hairs rise up on the back of his neck. White smoke was approaching from an approaching... I blew it. I blew the cool moment, but it's... I'll do a second take. White smoke was pouring from an approaching minivan. Mowington calling it again. God damn, there was payoff, and we might even get blue text about these actors. The vehicle teetered to a stop along the shoulder of the road. Still, the smoke spilled out, roiling from a partly open window. Kano could feel a strange chill in the air. Is that... Instinctively, he rushed toward it. Oh my god! The ultimate payoff. Thank God Minorikawa sucked at keeping promises. Peering through the minivan's windows, he saw a clunky, box-shaped device in the back. It was rumbling fiercely, spitting at an unending mound of white clumps. A dry ice machine. Hey, Kano yelled, banging hard on the door. Open up! By freezing a bomb that used an electronic activation trigger, it was possible to kill the battery cell and deactivate the detonator. The explosive ordnance unit used liquid nitrogen, but maybe dry ice could work as well. Liquid nitrogen has been cooled, nitrogen that has been cooled to a liquid state, with a temperature below negative 195.8 degrees Celsius. Remembering that 0 Celsius is when water freezes. It can be poured onto explosives to stop the function of components such as the battery cell for the detonator. However, in situations where the surrounding area can be safely secured, it is preferable to destroy the explosive via detonation rather than simply arrest its function. They mentioned that in, yeah, Meowington, they did hint at this in Jack's flashback. They mentioned this in Metal Gear Solid 2, by the way, that even when you do the whole freeze the bomb thing, they address that you'll hold off for like 24 hours and then actual bomb squads will come by later. And now, dry ice. Carbon dioxide in its solid state. Because it evaporates at negative 79 Celsius at standard atmospheric pressure, it must be kept refrigerated or it rapidly dissipates into mist, thus its use in smoke and fog machines. The odds of dry ice being able to stop the detonator of a bomb are quite low. Battery cells do lose electromotive force in a sub-zero environment, but there's no guarantee that this would actually work. Oh my god! There were 3 men inside the vehicle. Kano shouted at the one in the driver's seat. I need to borrow that machine! Huh? The man replied in a lethargic drawl. Yeah, surprise, surprise, right? No way, man. We haven't even paid this thing off yet. There was no time to explain or negotiate. Kano was just gonna have to take it by force. Are you goddamn kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hold it right there! Another man appeared, suddenly in front of the vehicle. The pushy fellow Kano had run into at the scene of the explosion. It took forever, but Minorikawa finally delivers. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are with that Wandering Angels theater troupe, yeah? He said to the van's occupants, and I called it, we have continuity. Episode 6, the finale. Ladies and gentlemen, the minivan carrying Tozuka, Bando, and Amo veered wildly through the streets of Shibuya, leaving a trail of white smoke in its wake. The trio, now definitely impaired by oxygen deprivation, came close to causing several accidents. Teetering on the brink of consciousness, they were still trying to reach Endo Electronics when they ran into Kano and his companions instead. After Kano takes the machine off their hands, the three will happily head back to the theater, clean up, crack open some beers, and look back over one long crazy day. Fin. We did it, ladies and gentlemen. We completed the Wandering Angels saga, which wasn't even the play, it was the behind the scenes. The whole time, it happened. He pointed at the dry ice machine. That thing's defective! The guy from the electronics store said he'd refund your deposit. Huh? For real? Yeah, he told me to tell you that the machine has been recalled. We'll bring it back for you, so hurry up and open the door. Yeah, okay, Mr. Nuke. The newcomer helped the 3 men unload the dry ice machine from the minivan, then he turned to Kano. We have less than 2 minutes. Oh my freaking god. Here. Hurry up and take it, he shouted. Right, thanks. Kano wasn't sure what was going on, but he took the machine and ran, pushing it ahead of him across the pavement. Achi! Hitomi wailed, tears in her eyes. The detective blew right past her, trailing a billowing plume of white smoke in his wake. Please let me make it in time. Please let me make it in time. Please let me make it in time. Kano let loose a wild yell. He ran as fast as his legs would take him toward Achi and the bomb. Keep out, ladies and gentlemen, it has to be. What, to be continued? There's another chapter? Are you kidding me? It has to be just epilogue, because, like, what the hell? Where do you go from here? But we're jumping! What the... Oh, I gotta keep reading as Achi to get to a block. It's fine, ladies and gentlemen. Not the real Alphard. Where could the bomb be hidden? And now we get our save. Scanned the area, but didn't spot anything that could seem plausible. Then his eyes happened to alight on the attaché case the decoy had discarded. Could it be? No sooner had his suspicions been aroused than he heard Kano call out to him. Achi, check the case, hurry! He hurriedly opened up the attaché case and searched the interior. But the only things inside were pieces of medical equipment, tubes and syringes and the like. There was nothing that looked remotely like a bomb. Still, where else could the bomb possibly be hidden? Damn it! He had to find the explosive, and soon. He took another hard look at the case. I'll shake it, flip it over, smash it apart. I don't freaking know. I'll flip it over. He lifted it high and flipped it upside down. But as he was about to throw it, he heard a faint metallic sound. There it is. Lowered the case again. He was certain the noise had come from inside, and shaking would have done the same thing ever. Anyway, it's fine. Opened the case and looked inside, but still he saw nothing of note. Tossed the medical equipment aside and tilted the case from side to side. Although it looked empty, there was a distinct sound of something metal sliding back and forth. Hold on. Could it be? Achi tugged at the case's inner lining, quickly tearing it free. Nani! When he looked behind it, his eyes went wide. A thin layer of something that resembled white clay had been affixed inside the cover of the case. Several wires connected it to a small electronic device. This was it. The bomb really was inside the attaché case. And just think, by the way, if Minorikawa had been good on his promise, we would have all died. If he had just told the people about the dry ice machine. Here it is, he shouted to Kano. I found it. There's our save point. Now, just for curiosity. Hey there, Miguel. I'm going to check the other choices in case they get me to a bad end, but I don't think they will. Shook it roughly back and forth. As he was about to throw it, he heard a metallic sound. Oh my god. Or... I think the smash just skips the first two options and it goes directly to as he's going to throw it. That's kind of funny, actually. Yeah, immediately, yep. Hurled against the ground, but wait. Damn, I do have to keep pressing buttons, though. Oh, well. Come on, I'm so anxious to go back to freaking Kano's story. This is killing me. A bomb. Boom, boom. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Here it is. Found it. Kano hurried over, take a look. Alphard went pale. It cannot be. Why? This is why you don't trust people. Yeah, we need to get out of here at C4. Blow the whole area to smithereens. I mean, one smithereen is bad enough. Is that thing going to explode or not? He tried to keep his voice from wavering. But no, not yet. Achi understood Stanley's instructions, a specific sound. It's gotta be Hitomi's ringtone. Ah, this is killing me because we gotta get all the way to the dry ice thing, even though we just kind of read it. He loosened the bomb and cables, pulling them away from the lid of the case. The sight made Achi's heart leap, then kind of went stock still as if caught in a hungry predator's gaze. There's not just a sound trigger. The voice was a raspy whisper. There's a timer! Oh, no! His blood ran cold. Kano makes the call. Achi picked up the case and peered inside. The digital timer was steadily ticking down the seconds. Achi scanned the nearby area. Too many people around the scramble. Hitomi was there. Suzumu was there. Several more of his old pals, along with a bunch of innocent bystanders. The people are the lifeblood, Achi reminded himself. The blood that coursed through the body that was the city. Like cells that brought to life the city he so loved. And Achi wanted to be one of the red, or was it white? Blood cells of Shibuya. Achi, leave that thing and get out of here. No. He sat down, cradling the case in his arms. It would have been probably more dramatic if we read Achi's story first, and then went to Kano and got the big save. But oh well. We're just gonna reach the keep out. Hitomi wrapped her arms around Achi from behind. Achi, don't do this. Hitomi, you need to get out of here too. Why? Why are you acting so crazy? Tears blurred her words and he could feel her trembling against him. It doesn't matter. Just get as far away as you can. No. No, I'm not leaving you. After the day they had spent together, Achi knew full well that telling Hitomi something once wasn't enough to get her to listen. That stubbornness was one of the many things that made her so amazing in his eyes. Hitomi, Achi clasped one of her hands tightly. Please, this is the one favor I will ever ask you. His voice came out oddly soft and gentle. Alright, she told him, but let me just say one thing first. There are still so many things I want to talk to you about. So much more that I want to know about you. So please, Achi, don't you die on me. Hey, don't worry. Once everyone's made it to safety, I'll clear out of here right away. Hey there, Bobby. Hitomi squeezed his hand, then got up and silently hurried away. Suzumu, you and SOS. Start getting people out of the area. Yeah, alright. Suzumu turned away and spurred the gang into motion. Katana! Then for an instant, Achi's eyes met Kano's. Achi gave a tiny nod and looked down at the timer. 119, 118, 119, okay. Get back, Achi shouted at the top of his lungs, and there's the, yeah, he held the case against himself as he shouted. He ran his voice raw, trying to warn the crowd away. But they're not leading. Kano followed his lead and said the same thing. Suzumu and Hitomi did too. But it didn't work. There's no time left. No, I'm not going anywhere because I can't run anywhere. The way Palmer talked about this bomb, it sounded like a pretty dangerous one. It might be powerful enough to blow up the entire intersection. And there were still so many people nearby. There was no chance they'd be able to get to safety in the few dozen seconds that remained. Achi needed to minimize the force of the blast as much as possible. There's the save! He cradled the bomb more tightly to his chest, huddling over it. What are you doing? Screamed Kano, and there's the jump. I don't know how powerful this bomb is, but please God let my body be enough to protect the people of Shibuya. And to protect Hitomi. Achi squeezed his eyes tightly shut. I'm sorry, Suzune. Looks like I won't be able to keep visiting you in the hospital anymore. You'll forgive me, though, right? I stuck it through to the end, just like you told me to. I didn't call it quits partway through, and so whatever you do, you can't let that disease beat you. Don't you dare let it beat you. Achi drew a deep breath as he finished his solitary little prayer. He couldn't have more than a few seconds left to go. And there's the keep out, and we are going to save the goddamn day. Achi, it was Hitomi. He was glad that her voice was the last thing in this world he'd ever hear. Or so he thought! Oh my god, yes! Achi, bring the bomb over here! Huh? That wasn't Hitomi's voice. Achi opened his eyes and saw Kano racing toward him, pushing some big weird piece of machinery. The detective flipped open the machine's cover to reveal a huge mound of dry ice, baby! Stick it in here. Flash freezing the timer ought to stop it. Actually did as he was told, shoving the attaché case into the dry ice. Kano helped him pile more dry ice on top of it. Let's hope that's enough, Kano exclaimed. He looked like a man desperate for a miracle. They could see the timer displayed through a gap in the frozen hydrogen, still counting down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2... Was this not going to work? Achi and Kano held their breaths. Come on, come on, come on. Wait, what? Wait, what? They're both to be continued? No, but that's okay. I finished the chapter. That's what that means. Right? Huh? Yes. What? Oh my god! Oh baby! Oh baby! Kanan's friend. She felt a hand firmly clutching her own as she hazily returned to consciousness. Is this because I went in with Maria? Like, or I thought it would be the epilogue would be the same no matter what, but I don't know. I might have to do epilogue with everybody, so I might need to still do one more stream of this, but we'll see. This hand. Whose is it? My father's? Yeah, this feels like a Maria thing, so I really might have to do everyone. Maria's eyelids slowly drifted open. Maria? You're all right now. Her father was indeed beside her, holding her hand. A surprising warmth radiated from his slender, bony palm. Dad? She was lying on a sofa. She craned her neck to look around, still trying to process what was going on. There were several monitors set up around the room. Where are we? At my laboratory. You were infected with the virus. But I have given you the antiviral. You don't have anything to worry about. Oh, Winterburn, yeah, there are some secret unlocks for sure. There are. And bad endings. So, I would still stream anyway, but yeah. He squeezed Maria's hand even more tightly. That hurts. Ah, right. Sorry. Osawa eased up the pressure on his daughter's hand, but he didn't let go entirely. This feels so strange, Maria muttered, staring up at the ceiling. I wonder why. What does? Having you hold my hand. Well, I used to hold your hand like this when we'd go on walks together, when you were little. I doubt you remember that, though. Maria considered. It was true, she didn't have any clear memory of her father holding her hand like this, and yet the touch of her father's palm felt distantly familiar. Gently, she squeezed back. It's been a while, hasn't it? She said. I mean, me looking you in the eye while I'm talking to you. Well, that's only because I didn't look you in the eye. Osawa hung his head. I'm so sorry, he said. Please forgive me. I never meant to hurt you like I did. Wait, hold on. Maria was taken aback. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean, hurt me? Back on that rainy day? Osawa told Maria about the day she'd run away from home. About how he'd known where she had gone, but hadn't gone to find her. About how he'd given in to his anger and struck her once she came back home. When he'd finished, he hung his head once more. I'm so sorry. I've been such a terrible father. Maria cracked an impish smile. Oh yeah, I guess that did happen. Osawa frowned. You know, she said, I'd totally forgotten about that. Until you mentioned it just now, I mean. No, I can't believe that, Osawa replied. The way I hurt you, He sounded so disappointed in himself. Dad, it's not like I could let myself dwell on each and every detail of my childhood. I mean, in the 19 or so years I've been alive, I've been hurt in lots of different ways. A child experienced so much more than what her parents knew. That was what growing up was all about. It was a happy thing, but also a little bit sad. Osawa was visibly grappling with his feelings. I see, he said. I guess you have gone through much pain. Well, yeah, but there have been more things that were fun and happy. I see. It's the sum of all those things that have made me who I am today. So please, don't worry so much about the past. I see. Dad, you keep saying I see. Stop it. Sorry. It's just... This is all so difficult to say. Osawa was trying and failing to hold back his tears. Maria wasn't quite sure what those tears were for, but she felt a prickle of embarrassment. Shyly, she looked away, and her eyes alighted on one of the monitors. The screen showed a view from outside the lab. Oh my god, the showdown! Who are those people? She asked, pointing. Osawa looked, and his eyes widened in shock. 3 people with guns were facing off with one another. Maria recognized one of them, Tateno, the man with the cane. Why are those 2 pointing guns at your friend? Osawa's voice was shaking. My friend? What do you mean? Well, the one you met when we went to the Middle East. You know, Kanan? Osawa switched the monitor to show a different camera angle. A close-up of the young woman's face appeared on screen. Maria was at a loss for words. That certainly wasn't Kanan. It was the girl who'd come to tell Maria that Hitomi was going to be kidnapped. Kanan's friend. Oh my god. We have a save? Are you serious? It had happened 3 days earlier. While Maria was on her way home from campus, a girl approached her, telling her she was a friend of Kanan. Kanan asked me to pass along a message, she said. Then she showed Maria a video recording. The video quality was quite poor and the voice indistinct. Tricky. There's a terrorist who's after the antiviral agent your father is developing. Maria listened in shock as the message continued. The terrorist plan was already in motion, and Hitomi had been infected with a killer virus. Your father used the antiviral to save Hitomi, but the terrorist planned on that. I'll spare you the details, but there's a way to extract the antiviral from Hitomi's blood. Stealing the drug from the laboratory directly is too problematic. The terrorist intends to get it directly from your sister. Hitomi is certain to be kidnapped sometime in the next few days, and so I have something to ask you. I'd like you to get kidnapped in her place. Since you're twins, it should be possible for you to trade places without the kidnappers realizing it. I gave the girl who was passing along this message a necklace outfitted with a small GPS beacon. Make sure you wear the necklace. Switch it on, and it'll allow me to keep tabs on your location. I promise I'll come and rescue you. Please help me. This is the only way we can keep the antiviral and Hitomi safe. The video ended, and the girl handed Maria a necklace with an ornate pendant and showed her the hidden switch on the back. Kanan's coming to Japan? Maria asked. She's already here. She's ready to risk her life for this mission. Risk her life? Maria started uneasily. So this terrorist who's after the antiviral drug, is it Alphard? The girl looked shocked. You know about Alphard? Kanan told me that taking down Alphard is her purpose in life. But Alphard has ties to the CIA, so it's hard for Kanan to get any good leads. That's true. Which reminds me, you should have this. The girl held out a photograph. This man is dangerous. Oh man, tricky. Stay away from him. He's an ally of Alphard. Maria did her best to burn the man's image into her mind. Alright, the girl said. I've passed along everything Kanan wanted me to tell you. What you do next is up to you. Oh my god. That's freaking crazy. So wait, what the heck has been going on while I've been asleep? Osawa recoiled from the ferocity in his daughter's face. That Kanan girl thought of a way to save you. He went on to explain the plan to get the antiviral out of the lockdown laboratory. Once again, Maria stared at the monitor. As she eyed Kanan's friend, another memory from before she'd blacked out drifted to the surface. There it is. Suddenly it dawned on Maria what this girl was planning. She pretended to be Kanan in order to get into the lab, she said. Scowling at the image on the monitor, Osawa looked at the screen and then at his daughter's face. Well then, who in the world is she? Maria already had the answer. There was no doubt about it. That girl was Alphard. The instant she realized this, she knew they were in danger. If Alphard managed to infiltrate the lab, there was no way she'd be satisfied with simply getting her hands on the antiviral. She sowed ruin everywhere she went. Is something wrong? Osawa asked uneasily. Maria, what is it? Maria's mind was racing. She spoke her thoughts out loud. She's going to kill you so the drug can't be recreated. No, that's not thorough enough. She's going to destroy this whole facility. But how? Vague possibilities tumbled through her mind, but she couldn't be sure what the terrorists might be planning. She gritted her teeth in frustration. Don't worry, Osawa said. I don't know who that girl is, but right now she's outside the lab. There's no way she can kill me, or plant a bomb in here or anything. Yeah, I know. Maria gave a tiny nod, but something gnawed at the back of her mind. Make sure you wear the necklace. Oh, baby. It's a GPS and a bomb. Hurriedly, Maria took hold of the pendant that hung around her neck. As soon as she did, she felt a chill run up her spine. She went back over the details of Alphard's plan as her father had explained it. And then, finally, she understood. I've got it. Osawa straightened up. You've got what? I need to get out there, where those three are. Don't be absurd! I have to go! Osawa peered closely at his daughter's face. Words weren't going to stop her, and, as he realized that, his own face stiffened with determination. Alright, but I'm going with you. I can't let you rush into danger all by yourself. Thank you, Dad. Maria tried to get up from the sofa, but she was struck by a wave of vertigo, and her knees buckled. Are you alright? Osawa caught her by the arm. This is probably a side effect of the antiviral. You shouldn't push yourself too much. Maria looked up at her father's anxious face and shook her head. Don't worry. I'll be okay. Her body was weak with lethargy, her mind trapped in a disorienting haze. Every step was a monumental effort, but she clenched her jaw and forced herself onward, making her way down the laboratory hallway. A whirlwind of anger and sadness spurred her onward. Alphard was masquerading as Kanan. The cruel truth was all too clear. The terrorist would never have been able to get away with deception if Kanan were still alive. Yeah, Dragon Ace called that Kanan's probably dead. That sucks. Which means that Kanan must be. Maria fought to hold back her tears. It was too early to cry just yet. That could wait until after she put a stop to Alphard's plan. Using her rage to suppress her sorrow, she shoved open the door in front of her. Oh boy. That isn't Kanan. Oh my god. Maria's voice exploded into the silence of the standoff. I doubt we're getting better testimony than that, Stanley said, his gun still at the ready. There's no talking your way out of things this time. The expression on Alphard's face didn't change. She stood still, a mannequin without a soul. What did you do to Kanan? Maria demanded, marching unsteadily toward the terrorist. Maria, stay back, Osawa exclaimed. She ignored him. Hey, don't get any closer, Tatena barked. He looked exhausted, on the verge of collapse. Answer me, Maria cried, still advancing. What happened to Kanan? But still Alphard said nothing. Stanley, too, began edging toward her. It doesn't matter what you ask, he said. She won't tell you anything. Bit by bit, he inched closer. He was going to try to take her down. Let me turn your question around, Alphard said abruptly. What do you think? Maria paused, confused. What do I think about what? What do you think happened to Kanan? The corners of her lips twisted up, shaping a mirthless smile. You killed her, didn't you? Maria's words came out as a whisper. What was that? I couldn't quite hear you. You killed Kanan, didn't you? This time Maria cried out with biting fury. Alphard snickered. She's provoking me, Maria thought, forcing herself to swallow her rage. She couldn't let herself get caught up in Alphard's game or her anger would spill out of control. Why are you laughing? By force of will, Maria made her voice firm and steady. Because I'm guessing you weren't expecting me to show up here. Alphard raised an eyebrow ever so slightly. This thing here? It's a bomb, isn't it? Maria held out the necklace. What? Stanley furrowed his brow. Ah, of course. Even if we managed to catch you here, you'd still be able to destroy the lab. Still, the smile remained on Alphard's face. She seemed to enjoy watching the others figure out her intentions. But you can't trigger the bomb with me standing this close to you, can you? Maria locked eyes with Alphard. Unless you're prepared to sacrifice yourself? She stood like an image of bravery, while on the inside her apprehension threatened to tear her apart. She could feel her heart thudding so furiously that she thought it might explode. Cold sweat trickled down her spine. Only her rage at Kanan's murder kept her from backing down. Go ahead and blow yourself up if that's what you want, she said, but you'll die with nothing. Your death will mean nothing. But not mine. My death will avenge Kanan's. Silence fell outside the laboratory gates. Stanley and Tateno stood frozen, their guns still trained on Alphard. Both men were ready to pull the trigger at the slightest provocation. Just how long had they been there, staring one another down? The passage of time seemed to slow, seconds drawn into hours. Osawa swallowed audibly. Finally, Alphard tossed her gun onto the pavement and held up both hands in surrender. Stanley wasted no time, springing forward to secure her. He gave her a thorough pat-down from behind. He removed a small device that looked like a detonator from one of her pockets. On your knees. Alphard did as she was told. Good. Now, hands behind your head. Try anything funny and I will shoot. Without a word, Alphard placed her hands on the back of her head, fingers laced together. I don't know, man. What are you playing at? Stanley growled disdainfully. Finally realized you can only push your luck so far? She responded with a faint snicker. It's not my policy to resist when things are hopeless. You know, where is Al Carawan? Remember Al Carawan? Where's Al Carawan? Her tone was detached, her intentions unreadable. Good. That'll make this easy. Stanley kept the barrel of his gun pointed at Alphard's head. This is for my brother. The words hung in his throat, unspoken. A surge of emotion coursed through him. Just a tiny bit more pressure from his index finger and he could put a bullet right through Alphard's head. His long journey would finally reach its conclusion. But although he had wished for this moment more than anything, his finger did not move. If he pulled the trigger now, would that truly be the end? His mind reeled at the implications. Tateno watched Stanley closely, eventually letting out a sigh of relief. They were in this together, after all. Now they just needed to be careful not to let down their guard. Beta Brain, the entire squad of foreigners did get murdered earlier, but wasn't Al Carawan questioned and let go? If it did turn out he was murdered with the rest, then I guess never mind. He kept one eye on Alphard as he went to pick up the gun she discarded. But he was too late. The gun was gone. This is for Kanan! Oh, damn. Maria had lunged forward, snatching up the gun. Maria, no! Osawa cried. What are you thinking? She ignored her father, taking aim at Alphard's forehead. Kanan's dead, and you're gonna pay. The smoldering rage she'd fought to hold back blazed up with renewed fury. Maria, Stanley said calmly. Put down the gun. He had nothing but words to stop her. There was no telling what Alphard might do if he took his gun off of her. What will this accomplish, he asked, keeping his tone as level as possible. Maria's face remained awash with anger. Maria, her father pleaded, please don't do this. Tateno took a step forward. Go on. Hand me the gun, he said. Stay back. Maria's arm trembled as she aimed the gun. Everyone stood frozen, not even daring to breathe. The slightest wrong move might bring disaster. The silence roared. I don't care, Alphard sneered. If you want to shoot, then shoot. You do want to avenge Kanan, don't you? Yes. Yes, I do. Maria tightened her grip on the gun. Memories of her friend drifted through her mind. To Maria, born into peace, meeting Kanan had been like touching a world beyond her own, a far more complicated world. Kanan had blood on her hands from the time she was a little girl. A walking contradiction of cruelty and childishness. And yet she had lived her life according to her own unshakable beliefs. Meeting her had made Maria think hard about her own identity. What did it mean to be Japanese? No, that wasn't the question. What did it mean to be Maria Osawa? That was the crux of it all. They had been able to find common ground despite differing ideals because both possessed an unshakable sense of self. The tense equilibrium came crashing down as Maria let out a shout. "This is for Kanan!" She pulled the trigger, but her shot went wide, shattering the window of a nearby car. The sudden gunshot caught Stanley off guard. Alphard didn't miss her opening. She rolled swiftly across the pavement, drawing the small pistol she'd hidden in an ankle holster. Remember that? Maria hastily tried to aim for a second shot. Tateno? Osawa? Oh no! Dad? Osawa collapsed at Maria's feet. Dad! Her father went limp. Stanley dived at Alphard. He grabbed hold of her right wrist, the one clutching the gun, and slammed her head down hard against the pavement. She made no attempt to resist. In a moment, he had subdued her. Maria, you're not hurt, are you? Osawa croaked feebly as his daughter gathered him up in her arms. I'm fine, but Dad, you're... Blood was gushing through Osawa's shirt. Maria pressed her hand against the wound, but the bleeding wouldn't stop. Look, just hurry! Get here as fast as you can! Tateno was on his cell phone calling for an ambulance. I know there's a traffic jam, just figure something out! Please! His voice was ragged with desperation. Dad, hang in there. Large tears streamed from Maria's eyes. Ah, so this is what it's like. Osawa lay with his head in his daughter's lap, struggling to rasp out his words. My body just reacted before I had any time to think. I finally understand what a virus must feel like. His eyes were hollow. I never told you and Hitomi, did I? About what started my fascination with virus research? Dad, try not to talk right now. Maria squeezed her father's hand. Almost imperceptibly, he squeezed back. It probably isn't a very interesting story, he said, but I'd like for you both to hear it anyway. I know, and we will. After this, I promise we will. Maria's words brought a contented smile to Osawa's face. I'm glad, so glad. It's alright, just don't talk right now. This time, at least, I was there for you. Osawa slowly shut his eyes. Dad, Maria said, but her father didn't answer. Dad, don't die. You can't die. The sound of ambulance sirens wailed in the distance, somehow. Maria clutched her father's hands, trying to make her grip firm and reassuring, just as his had been for her back inside the laboratory. Please, don't die. She repeated the words inwardly, over and over and over. More saving, man. A black car of foreign make arrived at the laboratory and pulled up to the curb. Stanley's superior, Gordon, emerged from the back. Whoa, they're here? A few of his men followed and promptly placed Alphard in handcuffs. Well done, Gordon said. Stanley gave him a slight nod. I'll be taking Alphard back to headquarters. You can finish up here. Understood, sir. Gordon shoved Alphard into the back seat and slid in alongside her, and the car drove off. Who was that just now? Tateno asked Stanley. My boss. Sorry, but we'll be taking Alphard into custody. You will, huh? Tateno frowned, but decided not to press the point. The ambulance arrived at last, and Osawa was loaded inside. Maria remained at his side, still weeping, still softly calling out to him. He could sense her there, though her voice sounded awfully far away. So he's still alive! Wait for it, people! Is this the end, then? He was vaguely aware that he was dying, but he was not afraid. At the far end of a hazy tunnel, he could still see Maria. My, she had grown. She had grown so very much. If he were an organism that multiplied by dividing itself, he would die knowing that he had left his best selves behind. He had only one wish now, that Maria and Hitomi would go on to lead happy lives. His vision was growing steadily more dim. Tiny motes of light flickered and wavered faintly before his eyes. It looked a lot like the very first time he had ever peered through a microscope. And that was enough for him. Unexpectedly, Maria's cell phone rang in Stanley's pocket. That's right. He meant to give it back to her, but the ambulance had already departed. The phone continued to ring for some time, but eventually fell into a death-like silence. But who called? We're really just keep going, huh? What? O2? Excuse me? Right! Achi held his breath. He could no longer feel the seconds ticking by. The numbers on the display were changing more and more slowly, but still he watched in fear. 2. It was impossible not to fixate on the countdown. 2. 2. 2. Kano and Achi continued to stare at the timer. 2. It had stopped. The timer had actually stopped. We did it! Achi dropped to his knees with a cry of triumph. The rest of the Shibuya Scramble burst into cheers. Hey there, funny goat. You are one reckless guy, you know that? Kano held his hand out. Achi grinned up at him. That makes 2 of us. You son of a bitch. The two had clasped hands firmly, their handshake conveying more than any words could have. Achi! Susumu came rushing over. You did it, man. I knew you could do it. The two bumped fists. Ah, weren't just me, Achi said. Could never have done it without you guys' help. Susumu smiled bashfully. Hey, Susumu, take care of the SOS for me. You got it. Susumu looked him squarely in the eye. Achi gave a little nod, and the two solemnly bumped fists again. Yes! Suddenly there was a blinding flash. Achi spun around to see Chiaki standing there, beaming happily, her digital camera ready for another shot. Hey everyone, gather up! Minorukawa called out to Achi and his pals. You guys are the heroes of Shibuya! Photo time, everyone, Chiaki said. Get ready! The young men struck a pose together. Wait, her too! Minorukawa ushered Hitomi over to stand with Achi. Hitomi? Achi stared at her shyly. It was all thanks to Hitomi that he'd been able to do what he had done. Keeping Shibuya safe. Keeping Shibuya safe, keeping his promise to Suzune. Hitomi had been his inspiration for it all. There were so many things he wanted to say, but he couldn't get the right words out. Achi, and Hitomi's cheeks were damp with tears. Hey now, little lady, Minorukawa called. No crying now, come on, show us a smile. He struck a goofy pose beside Chiaki. At last, the smile returned to Hitomi's face. It really is the best. Hitomi looked up at Achi in confusion. Your smile, he said. It's the best. I don't care what anyone else says. He spoke so earnestly that Hitomi couldn't help but smile even more. Okay, here we go, people. Get your best faces on. At Minorukawa's signal, everyone let out a joyous victory cry. Come on, guys, Susumu shouted. Let's lift Achi up where everyone could see him. The members of SOS let out another roar. Huh? No, you weren't gonna do that, guys. Hey, cut it out. But Achi had already been swallowed by the enthusiastic throng. Heave ho! Heave ho! Heave ho! There in the middle of the scramble, Achi was being hailed as a hero. Kano looked down with a satisfied smile. What they had achieved together was nothing less than a miracle. It had taken a lot of luck and more than a few coincidences for them to stop the bomb. Coincidences? Kano muttered to himself. No. That wasn't right. This was something different altogether. Fate. That's what it was. And not just one person's fate. The destinies of several people had collided, gathering momentum until coincidence became inevitability and Shibuya was saved. The raucous crowd tossed Achi high into the air again and again. As a plainclothes detective, Kano would probably never be showered with adulation quite like that. Well, that was alright. A detective's duty was to ensure the safety of the people. He didn't put his life on the line so that he could be a hero. Just seeing all those smiles, that was good enough for him. Kano only needed the approval of one person, and that was Rumi. Rumi. I hope she managed to get out of Shibuya okay. Suddenly worried, Kano pulled out his cell phone. There were a whole bunch of things he wanted to tell her. He couldn't share the whole story, police rules wouldn't allow it, but he wanted to let her know as much as he could. That the kidnapping case had been resolved safely, for instance. That he'd learned about the tortured past of the detective he'd so admired. That his partner was going to pull through. That he'd managed to finally talk to her father. That he put his life on the line to save Shibuya from danger. Rumi would listen quietly to the very end, and then, Kano thought, he knew just what she'd say. Short and sweet, in that gentle voice of hers, good job. Oh man, that's way too good. What a brilliant game. Oh my god, this is one of the best games I've played in a long time, and it's a visual novel. It's freaking excellent. Like, I know we didn't bring it down to Yanagishita and the Loan Sharks and Toyama, and I know that this game has more than that. I think I actually will stream this again next time to cover the extras, but oh my god, that was so satisfying. This game is way too good. Way too good. Like, I've mentioned this before, I think, during the streams, but this game got a 40 out of 40 from Famitsu Magazine in Japan, and it is well earned. It's so good. It's so good. Meowington, maybe there's a secret credit or ending or something, I know that there's more to see in this game. There's the bad ends, for example. I haven't gotten all the bad ends in all the chapters. And I think there are different branches I could take. So there's that too. So there is more to see. I really might stream this maybe one more time. We'll see. Yeah, well, exactly, Beta Brand. Yeah, Minorukawa and the Debtor's plot resolution. Haven't seen it, so, like, there probably is some... No, actually, no, you know what I think there is post-game content. I think that's what it is. Meowington making all the right choices gives us something. Well, I mean, we did that. It got us to the ending, I assume. But, I'm more interested in the wrong choices at this point. But I think there's post-game content. Oh, of course! The theme song of this game, The World Doesn't Change So Easily, is actually by Aya Kamiki, because she's a real, like, she's actually, like, a real singer. This isn't just an in-game thing. And by the way, regarding the chat, Dracologist, to answer your question of how many streams this was, this is the 20th freaking stream, which means I've been streaming this game for 5 months. Because I've been doing it once per week. And you know what? I'm not even mad. This game is gold. It's so good. Oh hey, this part of the song. This is Osawa's ringtone. Or no, it's the music he plays just when he's listening to himself. Oh, it's so good. This game's so damn good. It's so hard to sleep at night with this virus in our lives. It's a little on the nose, isn't it? And look, yeah, there's Toyama. Like, we got Toyama. There's gotta be something we can do with these people. Like, there is definitely more to see. Again, obviously, the bad ends. But there's totally other things we can do with this. I don't know, man. I gotta see about this. But it is ridiculous how much fun I've had with this game. When I picked this up on store shelves, I didn't even know that it got such high ratings in Japan. I just saw weird visual novel, Spike Chunsoft game. I figured I'd pick it up because it's one of those games that the store would only have one copy of because that's exactly how many customers are interested in it per store. So I figured it's a weird, quirky thing. I'll pick it up just to say I have it. Like, I bet you've never heard of 428 Shibuya Scramble, and it turns out to be like a record-setting game in Japan, and it's like the best damn visual novel ever. It's so damn good, and it's a real shame that America in general is not into visual novels, so it's not going to get like a 10 out of 10 here just because of the medium, but it's so good. And sure enough, we got some post stuff, so let's take a little bit of a look. Gordon and Alphard sat in the back seat as the car sped along the highway. Here. Gordon tossed the handcuff key, whoa, onto the seat beside him. Was this whole thing a ruse the whole time? What happened down at the scramble, Alphard asked, picking up the key and unlocking her cuffs. Are you goddamn kidding me? I know it said she had a CIA connection, but... Leland Palmer was arrested by the Japanese police, and the bomb in the attaché case was defused, apparently. Still, Palmer shouldn't pose a problem once we get him to CIA custody. I see. Much obliged. You really got yourself backed into a corner, though, didn't you? Gordon said. Yeah. I was only able to accomplish half of what I intended. Half? Alphard produced a vial from her pocket. Oh, no! It was filled with red liquid. Is that Hitomi's blood? Gordon asked. Indeed. I managed to acquire the antiviral. But when? Gordon peered at her in bewilderment. When I blew up the minivan. In the dim light of the vehicle, Alphard's eyes shone darkly, like those of a wounded animal. Extracting the blood from Hitomi while she was unconscious had been a simple matter. Hello there, Rion. Saving the girl's life had been more than just a means of ensuring her trust. Alphard had been looking for the right moment to carry out the extraction. Total secrecy was essential. If it became public knowledge that the drug existed, and that some of it had been stolen, the value of the UA virus would plummet. Our primary objective here was to destroy that research facility. Still, getting our hands on the antiviral is better than nothing. Well done as always, Alphard. Gordon's hard expression softened, but Alphard was in no mood to return his smile. If Maria Osawa had remained inside of the facility, her plan would have succeeded. Everything else up until that point had gone off without a hitch. The one thing Alphard hadn't anticipated was Maria bringing the bomb outside. She had injected Maria with a knockout drug back into electronics that should have kept her from moving around for a while, even after she'd regained consciousness. And in any case, she wouldn't have expected the girl to just march into the midst of an armed standoff. She had been certain that Maria would never leave the lab. She had misjudged how strong the girl's feelings for Kanan were. Maria's body had been put into a state of torpor. There were a bunch of people pointing guns at each other, and still she had been undeterred. Alphard's plan had hinged on Maria's relationship with Kanan. And ironically, that same relationship had made the plan fall apart. It was true that she'd accomplished half of her goals, but Alphard still couldn't shake her sense of failure. She softly bit her lip as she gazed out through the car window. The bright windows of a few buildings shone out in the midst of the otherwise darkened city. A group of tiny lights that refused to be washed out by the darkness. The end. God damn, Gordon was in on it. Stanley's own boss. That's a sick joke, man. But that is the end. Holy crap, what a game. I'm assuming I still am going to go back to the timeline, though, because I can still play around with stuff. Bonus content! And previews, too. Pop quiz, are you? Huh. Okay. Huh. Well. Huh. Oh my god! So I could always load my game and check the other bad endings. That is clearly an option. Bonus content, I'm not going to go into it. We're over time as it is. Pop quiz. What? What? Just either way? Are you kidding me? I could do bonus content of, like, everything? That's insane. Wow. This game... Oh yeah, Dragon Ace. Who was calling Maria's phone that Stanley was holding? Could it have been the real Kanan? That's a good question. So yeah, this game is still worth streaming, but we got to the main end. So yeah, so now I have incentive to load my previous file, do the bad endings, and I hear you might even get something for all the bad endings too, like a trophy at the very least. And then there's bonus content, so who the hell even knows? I am so excited. But at the very least, we reached the end credits. Thank you so much for going on this wonderful journey with me. And have a wonderful night.